I just want to preface this video by explaining what's going on a little bit. The first portion of this video is me preparing for the update before it came out, the raid battle update. I was building a team with Chillet and my Gobfins from the previous Frostallion video. The idea was that I predicted Bellanoir to be a dark type, so I wanted to build a good dragon team so I could really take it down super quickly. This first bit of the video is just me making that team, and then about halfway through is when the update comes out and I actually adjust my strategy a bit and make sure everything is ready to go for the fight. And then I go into detail about how I would fight the boss for Libero's variant and the basic variant. They're both pretty similar, and it really is pretty easy if you do it the way I do it. Without further ado, let's get into how I built this team prior to the update to prepare. I hope you enjoy. So basically what was going on in the background of that intro while I was talking was I was setting up 2 Pen Kings to breed together. The idea was that I wanted to get Legend and Swift on Pen King, and then I wanted to breed it with a Gobfin that has Vanguard and Stronghold Strategist from the last video and combine those into the perfect Chillet. I hosted a community poll on my channel about 2.5 weeks ago now, and the votes were very, very clear. You guys all, including me, expected the Bellanoir raid to be a dark type. With this prediction in mind, I went with Chillet because it's just making your attacks dragon, and the buffs from the Gobfins already makes the build really good against dark types. I figured this build would make the raid boss a cakewalk. So once I bred together Pen King with Swift and Legend, I put it with a Gobfin like I said, and then I got the Chillet I was looking for. All I needed to do now was to condense it and find attack pendant +2s from dungeons, which I still haven't done yet, and then I assumed I would be ready for the update's raid boss. Little did I know, it actually ended up being much more tough than I thought it was going to be, but that's for later in the video. Just like the last video I did with an insane build for player attack, I'm going to be farming dungeons until I can get attack pendant +2s. I couldn't get them last time, which was the big disappointment for me, but this time I promise I will go until I get it. I saw a comment on the video saying only farm the ice dungeons, don't waste time on things like the desert or the lava, so I'm going to try that and see if it does a little bit better. Alright, first gold chest, let's... Come on. First chest? Dude. I spent like 8 hours on this last time. Alright, I guess I just need one more. No way we get both attack pendants within 10 minutes of each other, right? Okay, I guess we're done. Wow. All right, I wish this was this easy the first time I made this video. Great. Okay, so as I'm starting to condense these, I'm realizing that I need a lot more Chillets. I think it might be time for a montage. Whoops. Alright, now that we're done with the montage, I think I can condense this to max. And there we go. Finally. It is so satisfying to finally be done with this. Man, just look how cute this Chillet is. You'd have no idea this is a destroyer of worlds. Alright, let's get testing on this Memorex to see if the build actually works out well. Even though this isn't super effective, it should go pretty quickly. Yeah, that'll work. So I'm cutting out about 6 hours of work that I did preparing for the boss fight after the update came out. It turns out the boss fight is intended to have more than just a 1v1 with you and your party versus the pal, so I needed a few more copies of Jetragons and Astagons. Pretty much all I did during this time was get Jetragons, get Astagons, get some Yormuntides, some Yormuntide Ignises, and some Blazimuts. I'll explain why I got the Blazimuts in a bit. The general idea is just that I have dragons to sub in case some of my dragons do die to the boss. I'll show you everything that I'm bringing into the fight before I start it. The only other 2 things that I did was I prepared a Ragnarok to ride. It didn't have any of the fancy traits like I have on the Chillet or any of the condensation or anything. It's just a Ragnarok, and I'm also preparing a Mazarin, a cheeseburger, to buff my attack by 20% for the fight. Without further ado, let's see how this Chillet build works against the new Bellanoir Libero. As you can see in the background, I'm sort of bringing a random assortment of dragons into this fight. Jetragons and Astagons with normal Yormuntides and some Orzurks are mainly what I'm bringing. I'm saving the Yormuntide Ignises and some Blazimuts in the back because midway through this fight, Bellanoir Libero is going to change typing. She's going to change from dark to ice types, which means she's going to be countering everything that I'm using in the start of the fight to beat her. Ideally, I would have more dragon backups, so when my main army dies, I could just put more of those in. But in this case, I didn't even bring it. I just subbed in the fire types after the dark types died, and it was a bit inefficient, but I still got the job done. I ate my Mazarin cheeseburger, I put on my last attack pendant, and I was ready for battle. Here's how it went. I'm just going to fast forward through the parts of the fight where I'm just strictly fighting it with my pals, and I'll slow down the fight and show you what I'm doing when there's something that's actually of note for your strategy in the fight. You want to notice in the top right, whenever your pals are starting to get low, you need to start preparing yourself and repositioning towards your pal box to be ready to sub them out. When they're at minor injury, they're not super close to dying yet, but you're definitely getting closer to the point where you want to sub them out. There's also the option of subbing out the pals before they fully faint so they can heal up in your box, but this is a bit min-maxy and I don't think it's really necessary if you just bring enough backups. I'll fast forward now to the point where my pals actually start to faint. Side note, when that sound happens, Bellanoir actually lays on her back for about 5 to 10 seconds and just lets you shoot her. You can just lay bullets into her, it's really easy, and if you're in a pal box subbing out, get off the pal box and take the free damage. Save subbing out for when you don't have free DPS onto the boss. Alright, as you can clearly see, my pals are starting to faint now. I've already repositioned myself throughout the fight towards my pal box so I can easily switch out these pals with no problems at all. This is ideally where I'd have better pals to switch in than Jormuntide Ignises because these are some of my only fire types for the last stage of the fight, but I did not come that prepared, so we're going to be going with Jormuntide Ignises, who are good in both phases of this fight. Okay, so it looks like Bellanoir is getting dragged pretty far away from where the fight started. That means the pal box should be really open. It's already being distracted by the other pals as well, so this is a great time to sub out. I only have a few really strong high-level pals remaining, Blazimuths being some of them, so we're going to have to use them now, and we're going to have to fight the final stage of this boss by ourselves. Obviously, bringing more subs would be a really easy solution to this, and you won't have to actually worry about fighting it by yourself at any point, but I want to show you the bare minimum to get the boss fight completed, and I want to show you some tips for fighting it by yourself. So at this point in my fight, pretty much all of my pals in my box are dead, and every other pal in my box would get completely destroyed by the boss. Also, the boss is getting extremely low, which means it's going to switch to the ice typing soon, and I need to adapt my strategy in order to win. What I decided to do in this spot when I ran out of pals is I just let the boss kill me once, I went back to my other base, and I got a Ragnarok from the box to switch out my Chillet for. This is because riding Chillet and doing dragon damage is going to kind of suck against the ice type at the end, so switching to Ragnarok to do fire damage is much better. Chillet obviously is more useful than the Ragnarok because you have to use Chillet for a lot more of the fight, but the Ragnarok acts as a really good relief pitcher for these fights. As you may have noticed, the boss timer went down 3 minutes since switching the pals out. The reason is because I couldn't find my level 50 Ragnarok for about 2 minutes of the fight, and then going back was kind of annoying as well, transporting in because it immediately started attacking me, and I almost died. You can die an unlimited amount of times in these fights, but dying does waste about 10 to 15 seconds, and you have to regain your health because you respawn on about half health. Soloing this boss with Ragnarok in the late stage is really not that bad either, especially if you have like a rocket launcher or anything. You can keep a distance, do a good amount of damage, and dodge really easily with the Ragnarok. If you're curious about anything like drops or how to summon the boss, make sure to go watch that last video I've been mentioning a few times during this one. It's a really useful tutorial on how everything raid battles works. I'll link it in the top right of the screen now and at the end of this video for you to go watch next. There it is, Bellanoir Libero. This pal isn't amazing in itself just because it's pretty much the same as Bellanoir when it comes to work suit abilities, but it does have one really nice feature. Its Siren of the Void ability. This ability buffs ice and dark attacks by 20%, which is the best ability in the game, I think. Now, I'm not fully sure on this yet, but if I can put this onto a Frostallion Noct, I think that might be a video that's coming very soon in the future. Also, if you want to see me take on Bellanoir Libero Ultra with a better build and everything, and fully broken down, leave a like. If this video gets to 250 likes, I'll do that. I'd also appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. This channel is extremely new, and if this channel hits 1,000 subscribers by the end of this month, I'll do a series that is absolutely insane starting in May that I know you'll enjoy. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Jace, and I'll see you guys next time.